Hey, how you guys doing? I'm back again with another episode of It Factor. As always, I'm your host, Jeremy Robinson, and today we have somebody special. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Stephanie LeBou. I am a safety engineer. I work at Amazon. I've been there for almost 3 years now. Um, I don't know what else you want to know about me.
That's good. That's a good intro.
Okay.
So first off, how are you? How has your week been so far? I wish tomorrow was Friday, but hey, it's okay.
I know. I've been doing pretty good. This has been a busy week for me, so I'm preparing to go on vacation. So
Mhm.
I cannot wait. Friday, I leave for Hawaii for a week and a half. I live in Seattle, so I am ready for some heat and some sun.
Oh man,
Yes, I can't wait. So Friday cannot come fast enough.
case in there, I can go with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But nah, man, that's gonna be fun. Hawaii, man. I gotta go to Hawaii one of these days. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it.
Mhm. So just first off, I would go with this question to ask you just to start off. Why is it important for people like myself and you to be in the engineering field and to be in the atmosphere?
To be in the engineering field, very good question. Well, we are also consumers, we are also consumers and we have an impact on how things happen in our communities, how products are sold to us, what technologies are available to us. So I think it's very important that we are also a part of that process. We need to be creators and inventors as well as consumers. And so I always keep that in mind when I'm out interviewing, we need to be represented in all spectrums of development and consumers. Yeah.
Got you. That's a great question answer to the question because, like, I always get into conversations about that, asking me about some of the tech stuff I have, or like, hey, you do this, or how long have you coded in this? I'm like, hey, I've been that. Like, how did you learn about coding, or how did you learn about it? And I say, hey, when I was in high school, I did not know anything,
Mhm.
or knew that I was doing it. And once I got to college and got thrown into the classes, I was like, oh, I can figure out how to do this. It's hard. Okay, let me keep trying to do it. So to be in
Yeah.
the place I am now, I'm happy to say that I'm here and I'm able to help someone else get here.
Mhm.
So in that, I would say, how was your experience thus far working for Boeing and now Amazon? How were those experiences?
Um, well, I spent a lot of time working at Boeing and I really enjoyed my time there. Um, I love aviation and I had an opportunity to really dig into understanding. So my background is in chemical engineering. So the part of the airplane that I worked on was a lot of the materials that we use for protection of the actual airplane. And so getting into those details, understand those requirements was really interesting to me. And I actually had great mentors there that kind of took me under their wing. And I learned a lot.
Mhm.
Um, and I was there for about 20 years. And then after a while, I was ready to move on to something else, apply my experiences or my expertise in other ways. Um, I was there, I think I said like 20 years. I was nervous at first. My parents' generation, they stuck with companies 30, 40 years, and it was not, you don't jump around and move around. So I told him my father, I wanted to move to Amazon. He's kind of like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do that? And I knew I was ready for that, a different type of atmosphere, being a part of different industry and kind of spread my wings in another way.
Mhm.
Moving over to Amazon was very, very different, different mentality, um, much faster pace, and is a very customer centric company. Everything starts with customer experience and working backwards. What's the customer experience going to be? What are the products that we are trying to internal and external customer? What what are we trying? How are we trying to serve the customer? And working backwards from there in our development. And that's, from my experience, a very different mentality than at Boeing. Um, but yeah, I have great mentors at Amazon as well. I've really enjoyed my time there so far.
That's
Do you have another specific question?
So specifically, how do your day-to-day job work, as that engineer is? What, the technology safety engineer?
Advanced technology safety engineer. Yeah. So my organization, we make some of the robotic and automated systems that go in the fulfillment centers. And last summer, my director, we were actually on CBS Sunday morning. My organization was, and my director showcased a lot of the technology that's going on in the actual lab that I work in. So it was pretty awesome to see that on national TV. And so I got to dig up that link and send it to you, but it showed a lot of the technology that we're working on in the fulfillment centers. And so for robotics, my team that I work on, safety, we design a lot of the safety components that go into those automated systems that go in. So we make sure that, hey, if there's an associate that's working on something, there's machine guarding, the control, functional safety of the control system. My individual responsibility, I lead a team that looks at like these systems. How are we going to install it? We're making a lot of these state-of-the-art new technologies that have never been installed before. So we're looking at it at a different angle. Like, how are we going to lift this thing if it needs to go onto a mezzanine? How is it going to be bolted? So we're kind of designing for installation, where another side of my team is looking at the functional safety and the controls and the machine safety of the actual technology. I also look at the materials that we build our machines out of. There's a lot of environmental laws that are out there, so I'm just making sure they comply with environmental laws. So there's a lot of collaboration between the different product teams, different OEM contract manufacturers, contractors, the day-to-day operations. Yeah.
Gotcha. So in that, I would say, I'm interested because, I'm a big automation guy. Like artificial intelligence is my thing too. So like,
okay.
definitely want to see that video, man, because I want.
Yeah, I'll definitely send it to you.
But also, like, just to hear those things that are happening and you're on the forefront of it, that's amazing, man. That's really amazing. So, in that, I would say, what is your it factor? Why you do what you do?
So most of my career, I've been in some sort of safety risk management role. And as an area I've always enjoyed, I've always believed, everyone should go home from work the same way they came in. That's why I do what I do. I remember it was about 20 years ago. I heard about, at the plant I worked in, there was a fatality. And I didn't know the person personally, but whenever I do my risk management around whatever systems that we're developing, that's what I think of, who's going to be using these machines? How can I make sure safety is designed to the actual system? Because I want to make sure everyone goes home the same way they came in.
Gotcha. So like, what led you to wanting to be an engineer in the first place?
So my father's an engineer. He worked at Boeing. So growing up, he would always have at the company at the time had like a Boeing day where we would go in and see the airplanes. We got to see his desk, where he worked, and I was always just interested in airplanes and technology. I always loved math and science. I was taking all the science classes in high school and in junior high. I loved it. And then when I got into college, I thought I wanted to be an aerospace engineer, but I took my first statics and dynamics class and learned about something called vector math. And I was like, what is this? What is this foolishness? This doesn't make sense. So I'm going to go back over here to chemistry where everything makes sense. And so that's where I ended up going back into, and then I ended up getting a degree in chemical engineering. But then, even though I didn't have my aviation, my aerospace, degree, there still can be involved in aviation just in another way. And that's where I got into the materials that we use on the airplane and how we can keep the airplane from corroding and all of that. So it's still a great career.
All right. So in a little sense, you got a cool job. Got some cool
yeah.
So, we try to downplay it, but hey, it's cool jobs to me.
Yeah.
Computer and code and do this stuff. Sometimes I have good days though. Like, oh man, this is.
And coding.
Yeah.
Oh, I took my first C++ class. Like, again, what is this foolishness? This does not make sense. I missed one comma when I'm trying to compile the program, and it all just blows up. I can't. Yeah. That's that. I'm glad there's people that love that type of stuff because I'm not it.
It's how my mind works, that's how I explain it to my family. Since over COVID, they've been like, they'll watch me do something. and you done working? Like I said, you start working, they like at 7, right? At like 7 in the morning. And they be like, yeah, like, so at 12, they eating and stuff. They like, "Yeah, I'm halfway done my day anyway. I'm good."
Yeah,
They're like, how did you do
yeah,
that? I'm like, well, I had to do this, this, and this. They're like, yeah, so what is that? I'm like, well, you start the car, you put the key in it. And then when you put the key in it, you add this type of technology. And I just like, just make up something. But then I showed them, they were like, you really know what you're talking about? I'm like,
yeah. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
a little bit, just a little bit, So yeah, I would say, how important is it, for blacks and people in general to find a profession that they like that they really like, that they can see themselves doing for a lifetime?
You know, we are a community that has been disenfranchised for centuries, and we're survivors. We do what we have to do to survive. And I think if we are in a profession that we love and that we find rewarding, I mean, that we actually love, not we love the money part of it, because people are in jobs they hate, but they love the money. No, we are in a profession that we love and we find rewarding. I think, that's when you actually start living and that's not surviving. And so I think that's why it's very important for us to be in professions that we love. Yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, and I would say, do you have any questions for me?
Yes. So when you reached out to me, I am horrible on LinkedIn. I am the first to admit. And so I apologize. You had reached out to me twice, and I didn't realize. I get on it every once in a while. But how did you select me for this podcast? How have we met?
Okay, so when I went to Clark Atlanta University, I was an engineer as well before I went to Northeastern. And in that program, I was able to get a scholarship from you guys group. And I remember having a conversation with you at one of those dinners. And it stuck with me throughout my time in school. And I said, yeah, uh, you may not know, but my show been out since 2019. And one of my things to
Okay.
click on was to say, hey, the people that helped lift me up, need to be that scholarship or even advice that you guys
Yeah.
given throughout the semesters. Uh,
Okay.
I wanted to bring people like yourself on my show and speak about
Hmm.
what you do and how you do it.
Okay.
So,
You were one of my students. Okay. Yeah. I was the scholarship focal for, yeah, when I was at Boeing, we had a college recruiting team for the AUC, for Park Atlanta, Morehouse, and Spelman. And
mhm.
I was the scholarship focal. And so I met with all of our scholars twice a year on campus. We used to go to Miss Mary Max, Mary Max Tea House. Oh my gosh, I miss
I
that place.
miss those free meals because
Yeah.
when I go,
We always took you all
hey,
out to dinner. Yeah, that was so much fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that, and then also just the person you are, like me doing the now do extensive research on like searching out the people, making sure they're, qualified people to show people like this is an engineer, this is a doctor, or this is the
Mm,
guy that operates a trash can truck. This is the jobs that you could get, and this is how you
yeah.
can get them. And doing that because like I said when we started the show, I come from a rural place in rural Georgia, Fort Valley, Georgia, to be exact. And I didn't know nothing about computer science.
Yeah.
Didn't know nothing about computer engineering. And I always was like, where is the black person that done this? Or like, where is the person that I can talk to or listen to something? And I would wonder how different my career probably would have been or what I would
Yeah.
have went into if I had a show like this growing up. So
Yeah.
that's why I created it and then bring people like yourself on it. So that's my
I'm glad you brought that up because this is like a long time ago. It's probably at least 25 years ago. There was this after school program I used to volunteer at. And it was it was an after school program. It was just engineers coming in and we were playing math games with the kids until their parents came and picked them up. And there's this one teacher that I knew that worked there. She kind of pulled me aside. There was a few young black girls that are in there. This is like elementary school. And she pulled me aside one day. She was like, Stephanie, she's like, you don't understand what it means for you to be here, for these little girls to see you here with them. And that has always stuck with me, always stuck with me. So I always try and, volunteer. A lot of time at Boeing and at Amazon, I get asked to talk with different nonprofits that are catering or to advocating for, underprivileged or under served communities, especially for targeting girls as well, just to talk about technology and engineering and what is it like to be an engineer? What does it take to be an engineer? just whatever I can just to get that exposure. Because even today, there's still there's some communities out there that don't know or don't have that exposure. It's definitely not, equal opportunity out there.
And one of my closing question for you, since you did bring that up, how is it being a Black woman, in engineering? How has that space been to you for 20 plus years now?
For a long time, it took me a long time to really be comfortable being the only. And that's when I talk to girls. I was like, you have to be comfortable being the only. Sometimes you're the only female. Sometimes you're the only Black person. Sometimes you're both at the same time. And you have to be comfortable with that and still speak up. Sometimes, they'll ask questions and they'll talk really soft. I'm like, excuse me, I can't hear you. You need to speak up. I want them to practice speaking loud, being heard, using their voice. Don't be afraid to ask a question. And so it took me a long time to be comfortable. So if I can help someone move faster than I did in that space, they will be much better off than I started out. Yeah, but you really do have to be comfortable being the only, and still know that you have something to offer. You're smart just like everybody else. You have ideas, you have opinions, and you need to be heard. And so that's the message I try to convey to them.
Got you. So thank you for the date. That's pretty much
yeah.
it. Anything else, that's pretty much it. And I hope we stay in contact.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, and please remind me. I want to get you that link. I want you to send me that link from for my organization. It's really pretty cool. I'm really proud of it. Yeah.
I'll definitely get in touch with you, and I'll send you a message. I'll send you messages outside of LinkedIn.
Okay, but yes, you have my email and my phone number now.
All right.
All right. It was great talking with you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye now.